Hello YouTube, what's happening today? Cheeky Creations here, and I've got another ranking video for you. This time is going to be all the Batman films ranked from worst to best. Before we get started, I'm just gonna make some claims that I'm not going to be including any of the animated films. That's a list on its own. I won't be including Batman vs Superman because that was more of a Justice League film than a Batman film. And I won't be including the live action Batman film since I haven't really seen it, so I can't really say an opinion on it. But yeah, let's begin. At the bottom of the list, it's Batman and Robin. You know, I just feel like Batman and Robin was one of those films you can like as a kid. But when you watch it now, you're a bit like, oh, this is awful. This is rubbish. So yeah, Batman and Robin's bottom of the list. I thought Mr. Freeze was not a very well done villain. Poison Ivy wasn't really good. Bane was very poor. And just the gadgets were poor. Yeah, let's not even talk about Batman and Robin since that was awful. So yeah, Batman and Robin's bottom of the list. Following that is Batman Forever. Not as bad as Batman and Robin, but still nowhere near as good as what was to come and what has come before. I thought Batman Forever had some decent ideas to it. I thought Val Kilmer was an okay Batman. At the time, I did like how they were building Robin up. They gave him a bit more of a little sub pop and then just rush him to being Robin. And the Riddler was an entertaining villain. Same with Two-Face as well. So yeah, Batman Forever would be there on the list. And following that, all right, this is where the list gets hard because there are a lot of good Batman films. I'm probably going to say Batman Returns. Kind of a Christmas film in the way with the Penguin and Catwoman. I did feel like it was a decent film. I did enjoy it. I do watch it Christmas regularly. I thought Danny DeVito did a good job as the Penguin. Michelle Pfeiffer was a very good Catwoman. And, you know, Michael Keaton, he is a good Batman. I would say that, even though I would think he's slightly a better Bruce Wayne, but he's still a very decent Batman. So yeah, I would say put Batman Returns in that list. And following that is Batman, the first ever Batman film with Michael Keaton and Jack Nicholson, who played the Joker. I thought it was a alright film. I did enjoy it. Jack Nicholson did a very good job as the Joker. I think Jack Nicholson is a very good actor. He brought the Joker as more of a gangster in a way, whereas other Jokers have portrayed him more as a maniac or psychopath. He was more of a gangster. And not going to spoil it, they kind of, at the beginning of the film, they really set it up to the big reveal. So yeah, that's what I liked about the Batman. And it was the first of the Batman films of Michael Keaton. And Tim Burton is a good director. I think Tim Burton's got very good design to all of his films, such as costume design and set design. So yeah, I'll rank the Batman there. No, Batman, not the Batman. That'll be coming next to my list. And following that, I'm probably going to say Batman Begins. The beginning of the more darker, grittier Batman that we know now. I thought Christian Bale was a very good Batman. I feel like the Dark Knight trilogy did an amazing job at portraying Batman if he was real, if he did exist in real life. I thought Batman Begins was a very good introduction to the Christopher Nolan trilogy. I thought Scarecrow was very well done, and Ra's al Ghul, I liked how they built him up slowly. How that conflict began as he was Bruce Wayne's mentor and ended up becoming his biggest arch enemy. It was like everything he learned from him, he had to use against him at the final act of the film. And I do like how the introduction to Batman, they made him more scary, made Batman who he is a feared guardian. Whereas previous Batmans like the Michael Keaton, Val Kilmer, George Clooney Batmans made Batman a bit more kind of silly in a way. Like you wouldn't have that fear factor as compared to the Christian Bale Batman. So yeah, Batman Begins is on the list. And following that, The Dark Knight Rises. The Dark Knight Rises, I know a lot of people think it's the weakest of the Christopher Nolan trilogy, but I actually quite like The Dark Knight Rises. I thought Bane was a very well done villain. I like how he challenged Batman physically and even beat Batman at the beginning, and Batman had to do that big comeback to go and defeat Bane. So yeah, Dark Knight Rises was a really good film. It was a very good final act to the Christopher Nolan trilogy, so I can't really say anything bad about it. And Anne Hathaway was a very good Catwoman. Then following that, it's the most recent Batman film, The Batman, with Robert Pattinson. I feel like what I liked about The Batman was they decided, instead of doing an action heavy Batman like Christian Bale Batman was. Same with Ben Affleck Batman. Let's make this Batman more of a detective. He's trying to figure out a story, figure out what's going on with the Riddler, portrayed by Paul Dano, who I honestly thought did an amazing job as the Riddler. He made the Riddler very scary, because I feel like in the comics and shows and even the animated films, the Riddler was made more as a joke, whereas this Riddler was actually quite scary. You actually feared him a bit. He was kind of like took inspiration from films like Seven and Zodiac. So I thought The Batman was a very well done film, and Colin Farrell was a very good Penguin as well. He didn't have too much time, but he always had good screen presence as well. He did a really good job as the Penguin. And Robert Pattinson, I like how they decided to go for a more damaged, moody Bruce Wayne instead of a playboy philanthropist Bruce Wayne that we've seen with previous versions of the character. So yeah, I think the Batman did a really good job of making things fresh, which the Dark Knight trilogy did do as well, but they didn't exactly copy the Dark Knight trilogy. And finally, the best one of all time, The Dark Knight. The Dark Knight is one of my favourite films of all time, if not my favourite film of all time. It's what got me into making films. I loved every single second of The Dark Knight. The intro sequence was one of my favourite intro sequences of all time. Heath Ledger did an amazing job as the Joker, and it was quite a good performance, because with Heath Ledger, he was more known as a Hollywood heartthrob, kind of a pretty boy, and then he decided to go for quite a deranged, psychotic character in the Joker. He really proved how good of an actor he was, and it's really sad that we only got to see him do that role once, but may he rest in peace. And I liked Two-Face's introduction, slowly to becoming the villain from Harvey Dent all the way to Two-Face. And Christian Bale Batman still was really good. I love Christian Bale Batman. So yeah, that's my list of all the Batman films ranked from worst to best. Before we end this video, I do want to say this. I thought Ben Affleck was an underrated Batman. I think he did a good job at portraying Batman if he existed in a universe of characters like Superman, Wonder Woman, Green Lantern, and The Flash, whereas I feel like all the previous Batmans I've talked about wouldn't really be able to do that as well. They kind of had their own representation. It was sad that we never got to see Ben Affleck have a solo Batman film, let's just say. And funny fact about that, he's actually the actor that's appeared the most as Batman on screen, but has never had a solo film in live action. But yeah, this is the end of this video. Thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe for future videos. Bye bye.